Now, nothing has dropped anything new of Villainous in the past couple of months, or at least couple of days, because of that breaking news I have a couple of days ago. But I decided to do something different of Villainous. Let's talk about a AU. Of course, this is not the first time I talk about AU. I have done several ones, specifically for Villainous or Subtopia. In fact, the last one I did is Subtopia. That was actually kind of interesting. If I highly recommend if you want to see it. It's basically is what if Nick Wilde was sort of the Baba Yaga or the John Wick of Zootopia with the lawyer. And believe me, that was actually interesting. If you want to see that, you can see it on my playlist. A link should be up top right here at one of those sides or a bottom. But if you want to see that, if not, you just want to hear me talk about a AU about Villainous that is partly interesting because it was one of the animators who made it. Because when you see this AU, the art is actually pretty good and pretty accurate of the original. It's because it's from the same person who worked on Villainous, specifically Carlos Ramber. That you could find him on X, and he made a very interesting AU called Villainous Atreone Academy. In fact, this is not the first one Carlos made. He made several little small mini series of AUs about Atreone's Academy from Villainous, using all the sort of well-known Villainous characters, sort of slice of life, high school, sort of love triangle. And the first one is sort of from Dr. Flood, Missy, Venombite. All three of them sort of set up a very interesting high school sort of slice of life that it does grab you because it does work super well. Now, before I continue on, my name is Recho. I like to talk about animation, not just animation, through reviews, first impressions, cartoon theories, or sometimes, if I have some spare time, cartoon breaking news. Of course, you like how it's going, like to help my channel, put a like, comment, and subscribe. That's the only thing you need to do. If not, that's fine. You do. Thank you. Because of you, I'm getting close to my main goal of 2,000 subscribers. And yes, I'm getting close every single day because of people like you. People who like, comment, and share. Thank you. Now let's break down of this sort of AU called Villainous Atreone Academy. Now let's get started. Now, to be truly honest, you cannot find an English translation of this. This is completely on Spanish on the website or X on Carlos sort of a Twitter page. In other words, it's the only way you can find it or buy it from him from sort of Patreon or from sort of Comic Con. Not our Comic Con, Mexico Comic Con, just to make that clear. But at least do where this sort of exists, or you can read in Spanish, just go to Carlos X to find all the loose pages here there to actually read it. Of course, he made quite a few of them, and I want to talk about specifically Atreone's Academy because it just sort of how it's sort of built, because it really is truthful for the original canon. Like, for example, this sort of comic has sort of dementia and Dr. Flood being sort of siblings. This specifically focuses on Missy and Venombite because it's just sort of interesting how Carlos took this sort of idea, he made it work so well because you kind of follow Dr. Flood and sort of his daily routine, going to school, doing things in school, and having a relationship with Miss Seed, but just sort of kind of platonic because once more you try to be canon that how Miss Seed treats Dr. Flood, sort of only use him because she needs some things. He also applies, she always kind of interrupts him or always going in the house without his permission. She's sort of kind of like a pixie girl, like does whatever she wants, disappears, comes back when she needs something, and disappears again, without even giving a thought the feelings of Dr. Flood. But Dr. Flood sort of takes this because if you know the original canon, specifically the login book of Dr. Flood and the Daughter of Dementia, that points out at the end of the book that the relationship of Miss Seed and Dr. Flood was sort of kind of messy. Like, he only reason why he kind of stand her for everything she done to him is this the only one who actually talks to him. If you fully understand that, you understand why Dr. Flood allows her to do so many things, abuse her, use it for doing her homework, and just sort of makes sense because it's the only friend he actually has. But you also understand Miss Seed, if you read of the Dr. Flood's sort of journal, he does point out something is sort of wrong with her. Like she's sort of very needy for some reason, but he doesn't know why. And this is sort of exactly how they describe it in the book. Just to remind you, this is not connected to the original series. This is just a AU made up of the artist. But it is sort of true to canon. But introducing the new girl of the school would be Phandombra, who actually kind of needs help sort of directing her what is what, who is who, and the teacher sort of directs Dr. Flood to basically help her to establish her what to do next. This is sort of the seeds of jealousy of Messi sort of starts because Phandombra is kind, sweet, and humble. She wants a little bit of help, but she doesn't want to intrude. Complete opposite in Miss Seat because Miss Seat, little by little, she's pissed off. It feels like she taking something from her that she sort of abused and never care about, or maybe does care about because she doesn't really understands. But she interrupts Phandombra every time she have a chance to take Kenny away from Phandombra. But Phandombra doesn't really care at first. Little by little, Phandombra starting carrying Dr. Flood, starting asking her out to do some homework, some assignments, visit her house in pancakes, and Miss Seed is just pissed off completely, pushing her away, trying to do whatever it can, trying to understand why she's doing this, why you taking my man. In other words, even that she treats Dr. Flood so badly, but Missy feels almost territorial. But this is the thing, Phandombra doesn't really care. She doesn't bother her, at least at first. Like the more Phandombra knows Dr. Flood, more and more angry, frustrated, and jealous she becomes because you taking Kenny from her. Even that she's the one who actually cares about her. At least that's what you think. Because we don't know the real relationship of the original canon. We just know Dr. Flood and Phandombra know each other and they're just good friends. But that's all we actually know. This is sort of your own or this AU interpretation of that relationship. But I love it how Phandombra doesn't show her jealousy. It's the little things. Like once she crushed the bottle because of frustration, she doesn't show her anger. She just not physically, I'm not like facially. You just show little things like crushing a bottle or ripping a book or that sort of frustration that she will not break, that sort of chill sort of face she has. And this is the thing that kind of grabs you. She does care about Dr. Flood, almost falling in love with them, but sort of your own interpretation how she feels. And this is, I think this was just so interesting of this sort of AU, sort of who is the right person to fit Dr. Flood, or either or neither. He just wants friends. In other words, you can take either or, but it's just a sort of enjoyable small read to see how Dr. Flood sort of reacts to it in a way, but in the very end, like the main anime character, he doesn't realize both girls actually feelings of him. He just doing it because he finally have sort of friends, and that is just sort of interesting because it's sort of weird take on it, but it works so well. Especially you like to see all the characters sort of hanging out. There is sort of one page of all the female characters sort of hanging out together, but except for Miss C because everybody hates her, but she's just looking for Dr. Flood. And I love that sort of interesting thing, but also love one extra thing is sort of their relationship of Dr. Flood and demencia, that sort of brother and sister relationship, how she treats him and he treats her. It just feels kind of right, only if you sort of accept this, because I know some people prefer ship Dr. Flood and demencia, not Messi or Phandombra, or you like that or not, it depends on you. But I highly recommend it if you actually know how to read Spanish, because I'm not seeing an English translation of it, but yet the art, the sort of slice of life, and the direction it has is just so enjoyable. Even that it's sort of short. I mean, you could probably find it on Google, all the images, because at the very end, you still need to pay of some of the things or go to Patreon of Cardos if you want. But you can still see the first semi arc of this series online in Spanish, or just translate it with Google. You have that app if you can. But other than that, that's the only thing I can actually say. It's just so enjoyable and interesting and kind of fun. But I don't know that you ever heard of this or not. Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.